Hello everyone and welcome back to Drama Fury. So in this video I'm going to talk about the dramas that I finished in October, but instead of just sitting down and chatting, I'm going to make my tea while I'm at it. The first drama I finished is Squid Game. Surprise, surprise. So this drama was definitely on my to watch list, but I'd be lying if I said that the hype around it didn't make me watch it sooner. First of all, I really liked it. I think it's a really good drama, and I'm very, very grateful that a Korean drama is doing so well globally. It doesn't matter which one it is, but it's always nice when it's a good one, or when you agree, in this case me, when I agree that it's a good one. The things that I can say without spoilers is overall I liked it. I really enjoyed the ride. I think I actually really liked all the characters. I think the character work was so well done. I loved that there wasn't one of them that was a purely, good guy. All of them were flawed in one way or the other. All of them have done bad things. Some of them were forced by their circumstances. Some were just, did bad things. But there wasn't one character that you could say, oh, this one is innocent and has done nothing wrong, I'm gonna root for them. But it's definitely interesting how the whole drama is based on you rooting for morally great people, Another thing that I really appreciated was the cinematography and the sets. The sets were amazing, and I definitely appreciate the costume work a lot more now that I've seen an interview with the designer. In terms of cinematography, to me, it just felt like I was watching a really long movie. It felt like watching a movie, especially because thanks to it being aired on Netflix, there were certain aspects where they could push the boundaries a little bit more. Like there would be no sex scene, at least not like that in on a Korean TV, or the knives would be blurred or stuff like that. I think that definitely helped, and that's why it felt more like a movie as well. But another reason is probably because it was directed by a movie director. I think this is his first drama, if I'm not mistaken. And I really loved his film Silenced. Definitely interesting to see another work by him. Now, the only thing I didn't like that I can say without spoiling anything is I just did not connect to anyone in the drama. I wasn't emotionally invested. And I know there are people that were, so it's a me problem. For example, a drama, maybe you have seen it or not, but the first two episodes of The King's Affection, I cried so much during the second episode because they got to me, and you don't need a lot of time or the best innovative storyline to do that. But I think what happened here is that all the dire moments in this drama were accompanied by music that wouldn't normally be chosen for that particular type of scene, like a classical piece or a jazzy piece. And I appreciated it at the time because it made things creepier. But now that I think back, what it also did is it made me feel detached. And maybe that was the plan. I actually do believe that it was a plan, because otherwise they wouldn't have chosen this type of music. So it's definitely cool, but the negative aspect of that is that I just didn't connect to anyone in the show. That's it for the non-spoilery part. So now I want to discuss a few things. I need to mention spoilers. So if you still have not seen this drama, which, what are you waiting for? But if you still haven't seen it, skip to the next chapter. Okay, so the first thing is I was spoiled a little bit for this drama. I saw a video on YouTube, the title being something along the lines of, "This is why the ending of Squid Game doesn't make sense." And I scrolled past as quickly as I could. I didn't watch it, of course, but that title alone made me view the drama differently. It made me seek things that maybe otherwise I wouldn't. It made me notice things that maybe otherwise I wouldn't, because that title told me that there's a twist at the end. You know, there is something is going to happen that is not expected, and people seem to be so upset about it that they're making videos. And that is why the reveal of, the player number one being behind everything was not shocking to me. It was more like, oh yeah, I knew there was something off about that guy. There were things that tipped him off for me. The first one is that he's the only one whose backstory we don't see. If you check every single of the main characters, like the ones that are good, we see them struggle after they exit the games, like after the first game, except for him. We see him, talk to the main character, but we don't actually see him. And the second one is that he's the only one whose name we don't learn when everyone exchanges names. And the most obvious one is that he doesn't die on screen and we don't see his body. Out of the main, the good characters and the few bad guys, we see them either die on screen or we see their body, except for him. So that's when I knew something was off. I was like, oh, they're taking him out of the game. So the reveal was not anything surprising, and to be honest, it was a bit disappointing. The whole last episode is disappointing. I would have just ended it by I always forget their names, like the main character, the one we follow from the beginning. I would have ended it with him getting out and his mother dying. That scene, that's where I would have ended it. I think everything else is just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it belongs to the same show. I just don't like it. So the ending definitely, especially how they left it, I get it. Especially if you're making a show for Netflix, you kind of have to have an open ending because you might get a second series. A second season. But I just didn't like the ending. Another thing I didn't like is Sangu's death. I do not buy that he just had a change of heart at the end. Throughout the whole thing, from the get-go, he was the most calculating one, the most manipulative one, and he killed people with, intent, not by accident or because there was no other way out. And then he suddenly has a change of heart at the end. Yeah, I don't buy that. The last game would have been so much more impactful if one of them had to kill the other. But of course, they had to leave our main character as morally good as possible, and that's why he doesn't kill anyone. But I would have rather seen that the director would go farther, not be afraid to make that move and make the main character possibly unlikable because of that move. But otherwise, I have really enjoyed the drama and I'm really glad it's doing so well. I'm not sure how I feel about this tea. It's my first time trying it. It's kind of too sweet, I think. Which is very weird of me to say. But yeah, the second drama that I have finished in October is The Veil. The Veil is a drama about a top NIS agent who goes missing and is found after a year without his memory. I really enjoyed this drama. It was my one drama that I watched from beginning to end every single week as it aired. The star of the show is definitely Nam Guk Min. He poured everything into this character, not just his visuals, but his acting as well. He did a lot of subtle acting because Ji-hyuk is a character that is very serious, rarely shows emotions. So it's hard to play a guy like that. You might think it's easier, but I think it's actually a lot harder to play a person that doesn't show emotions but still has to connect to the audience. And I think he did a great job with that. My favorite character, though, is Jae. I love her transformation from, rookie looking for her dad to an actual agent. And it was really great to watch her grow throughout the drama. I love that she always had, his back, but she always thought for herself. She wasn't just following orders. So yeah, that's why she's my favorite character. And she had some pretty emotional scenes at the end, so I think the actress also did a really good job portraying the character. I do have issues with the drama. It's not perfect, but in order for me to discuss that, I have to go into spoilers. So again, if you have not seen the drama, skip to the next chapter. So the first thing that bothered me a lot was Soo-yeon's death. And it wasn't the fact that she died. I'm fine with that. You have characters that die. But what I have a problem with is how they did it. You don't have main characters die off screen and not show their body. And that's exactly what they did here. She was shot on screen, but then we saw her in the hospital and then we were just told she was dead. This whole situation made me think throughout the whole drama that she's just gonna pop up sometime. And that would be great suspense if she was actually alive. But she's not, and unless they are holding that off for season 2 and they're just gonna be like, surprise, she didn't actually die. If that was the case, I don't think they would have made the 2-episode special about her. I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be dead. Yeah, her death really pisses me off. Her exit from the drama was bad. I don't like it. The second thing is the whole ending. After, the whole 5 years later thing. I dislike that because of how open it is. I get it. Again, I get it. They're trying to get a second season. I really like Korean dramas because they are standalone dramas most of the time. I don't have to worry that I'm not going to get an ending if the show's canceled. I get an ending, and if an ending is bad, I can say, well, they did finish this drama terribly, but now there's already talk about second season for The Veil. And now I don't know if the ending is this vague because the writers, or the writer, I don't know how many there are, if the writer screwed up the ending, or is it open because they're getting a second season and they just want us to, wonder what's happening. I think if they wanted to just leave things open for the second season, I think the last scene with Ji-hyuk just walking out, I think that would have done it, because you're like, okay, so he's still working, someone called him, we don't know who it is, and maybe he's not with NIS anymore. We don't know. But I think that would be enough of a suspense for the next season. But if the second season doesn't happen, it's still okay. But what bothered me was that he just ignored Jae for 5 years after finally calling her his colleague. This was the whole his thing. Soo-yeon, said that about him, that he doesn't consider anyone his colleague, his equal. And he finally calls Jae his colleague because he didn't consider her his equal. Probably most of the drama. And honestly, she wasn't. But it's great that moment when he calls her that, and then he just ignores her for 5 years when he's in prison and doesn't contact her or doesn't answer her calls when she calls him. I don't know. It's just stupid. I don't get it. It's frustrating when you have a whole drama that's great and then the ending is just... And the third thing that is not really a negative thing, but what kind of killed the suspense for me for the last few episodes was that the whole drama rides on this idea that there's a mole, you know, there's someone inside of the organization that is working against it, technically. And that person is also responsible for the death of Ji-hyuk's colleagues. It is portrayed as something, you know, oh, and don't trust anyone, anyone could be guilty, which then makes the viewer question every single character that appears on the screen, even the main character. I was like, I don't trust Ji-hyuk either. You know, he just comes back without 1 year of his memory missing, just 1 year. You know, there's something fishy about that. And then he sends himself videos. I was like, there's something wrong about that. So when it was revealed, first of all, who the guilty party is, and then that Ji-hyuk killed his colleagues, I wasn't necessarily shocked because I already considered every single character. So it was more like, yeah, it had to be one of them, right? Because if they brought someone that had never appears on screen, that would be a complete, like, terrible thing to do. You don't do that. You trick audiences that way, and you don't do that. And it doesn't have an effect because the audiences don't know that character anyway. So these are, you know, it might seem like I have a lot of complaints, but they're actually quite minor. Overall, I did really enjoy the drama, and I think it is worth a watch. And the last one is a little drama called The Tasty Florida. It is about a boy, Haewon, I think, who moves to Seoul, and Eun-kyu, who owns a rooftop restaurant in the building that Haewon is staying at. Wow, that was hard for me to say. It is a really cute drama. There's not much I can say about it without telling you the whole plot. It is cute, it is heartwarming. If you need, you know, a dose of serotonin at the end of a long week, watch it. You know, it's good for that. And, you know, sometimes that's all I need in a drama, just to make me feel good, and this drama accomplished that. Okay, so these were the dramas I have finished in October. Hopefully November will be a bit better in terms of finishing dramas. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!